Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. This is T-Bone logging in with a vlog for Friday the 13th of December 2013. The game in the background is Hearthstone, which I received a closed beta key for yesterday. Now I should be resting my voice, but this is such an issue that I felt compelled to speak about it. Hence I apologise for the quality of my voice at the moment. There is a lot happening with YouTube at the moment. This is content that would be in my news programme, but as it isn't ready yet, it's here. First, we have had Google Plus integration. This resulted in a few issues to say the least. I am one of those who don't really use Google Plus at all. Not being given a choice in the matter is not something that I welcomed. I know I'm not getting much in the way of comments at the moment, but I know the changes affect every channel. The main issues are that negative comments end up at the top of the page as they are the most controversial and get upvoted. This is despite Google's assurances it will be a better commenting system. There is no character limit. I could post the entire Bible if I wanted to without a problem. YouTube comments have suddenly become a way you can share ebooks or movie scripts with people, which is not its intent. You can post links on your comments, which seems like a good idea in theory. The problem is you don't know where that link is taking you to and what explicit or malicious content you may receive as a result. You could have adware, malware or a virus linked through a YouTube post. Add to that the ASCII art, which didn't help matters either. If you want to see the effect, go and see Boogie2988's videos on the subject. Not just the Francis video, which is a character he plays, but his actual reaction to it. Total Biscuit's reaction, including the colourful language in the comments that he saw on Boogie's video, is well worth watching. I can understand why larger channels turn their comment system off as a result. At the moment, I'm small enough that I can police it. Apparently Google has fixed the problem. However, if there is a change when it comes to comments, I will let you know and find a way you can contribute in a meaningful manner. There are other changes happening as well. Multi-channel networks like Machinima, Polaris, TGN are changing. What used to happen was if you were partnered by a network, you could instantly monetize your gaming video. You wouldn't have to worry about copyright as the network would police the content themselves as well as actively promote your channel. For this, the network takes a cut from the revenue, which varies a lot between networks. Now, I understand that multi-channel networks need to change, I get that. On a practical level, having hundreds or thousands of channels all managed under the same network vouching for their content is impractical. Now what's happened is the partners are being placed into two categories: managed channels and associated channels. For managed channels, which tend to be the bigger channels the network has, nothing really has changed for the partner. The network still vouches for your content. However, any copyright claims have to be dealt with by the network, which can be sanctioned, fined, or even shut down if they do not toe the line. For associated channels, the situation is that you will have to deal with a Content ID matched automated copyright system which picks up on your videos with copyrighted material and is up to you as a partner to fix these issues. This includes any copyright strikes as well. I don't think associated status is the way forward. For smaller channels, it's another layer of bureaucracy that we have to go through before we're big enough to be managed. It's to the point where associated status isn't really all that different to going it alone, and I would question the value of that status. Yes, you are part of a network which will promote you but not protect you from Content ID flags. As well as instant monetization of gaming videos, not having to deal with a Content ID system or copyright strikes are the main reasons why people partnered. I can understand why there is an outcry from channels like Ohmwrecker, Angry Joe and other channels out there as a result of multi-channel network changes and Content ID matches respectively. I think the solution realistically is for partnered channels to be managed by smaller networks that can actually look after their partners, with the time and resources to deal with copyright issues, promoting channels and earning the cut that they take. I don't see anything wrong with larger networks as long as they can demonstrate they can manage the channels they have successfully. As for the Content ID system, the best way I can describe this solution is a sledgehammer to crack a walnut. Developers such as Blizzard and Deep Silver have openly said that they want people to use their game footage and content and are fine with it being monetized. In Blizzard's case, as long as you are not selling the video footage on, then they are okay with it. A lot of the claims are coming from companies that are either defunct or hardly related to the game in the first place. I understand the reason the system is there, but it doesn't work the way it should. Although games have been around as long as Star Wars, it is still treated as a new medium. When it comes to copyright, there isn't really a legal precedent to define what you can and cannot do with game footage. I've heard the term fair use used a lot. Realistically, when it comes to video games, it needs to be defined. The fact that YouTube is abuzz and absolutely alive with this debate acts as testimony to the fact that the system is fundamentally broken and needs to be fixed. I know developers like Sega and Nintendo do not want you to monetize your content at all. This is why if I ever review games from these companies and I'm successful enough to monetize content, I will either not monetize these videos or not cover their games. This is a ridiculous situation. I know how long it can take to make just one video, and the fact that it takes an investment in good software and equipment to make the content as good as you can make it. If I get to a point where I'm off a partnership, I should be able to make money from that content and invest in the channel and perhaps even make a living out of it. Not only that, realistically it is a symbiotic relationship. Gaming content on YouTube ultimately promotes games either individually or as an art form. I gather the main reason for match content coming up as copyright issues are things like game trailers, in-game music and cutscenes. Now, as someone who is now a content provider gearing up for a channel for next year, it is something I'm conscious of. I understand that a game development house spends a lot of time and creative energy creating a game. When it comes to content, I am conscientious when it comes to what will and what will not be uploaded to the channel. The reason I'm sympathetic in this respect is I'm a musician who did play professionally for a while. I know that if I had spent time creating a piece of music, recording it, then sold it, how I would feel if that piece of music was downloaded illegally. It's the reason why every game that I play or review is a legitimate copy. Now, when it comes to using trailers or cutscenes or in-game music, I don't see the problem with it if you're reviewing the content or talking about the game. If you're making a specific point, then you can back it up. For example, in my reviews that I have planned, I have specific sections dedicated to story, graphics, sound design and so on. Hence, I will use parts of the game to illustrate those points, but not to the point where I'll spoil the game or the video review for anyone. Here's the other thing with reviews, I shouldn't need to approach the developer every time I want to do a review. Imagine, if you will, every YouTube channel, gaming magazine, newspaper and website doing that. Developers wouldn't have time to deal with it. When it comes to official game trailers, I understand it isn't something I created, but it is cross-promotional. For example, a trailer for Pokemon X and Y had to be removed from a co-optional podcast while they were discussing the game. This is a 1-minute trailer in the context of a 3-hour podcast, and yet it was subject to copyright claims. I'm not going to claim for 1 second that the trailer is my work, or the game is. I'm actively telling people about your game, which can't be a bad thing. When it comes to uploading a story-driven game wholesale to YouTube, cutscenes and all for a single-player game in particular, then I can see there could be issues with that. However, if the game involved co-op or multiplayer, or it is a simulation or a strategy of some kind, then you can argue that the game is a platform where your content or experience is created. Especially if the game does not have a narrative. It is the players themselves creating that narrative, which will be different each time they play. You can argue the same thing with a story-driven single-player campaign. How each person plays the game will be different. Think about it this way, if I perform a piece of copyrighted music, while the music isn't mine, the performance is. I would never claim the music is mine, but the music becomes a platform for the performance. The same is true of video games. I'd never claim a game is mine, but it is a platform. While people may watch content because they're interested in a particular game, they're also watching for the person presenting the content. Think about someone like PewDiePie, for example. People watch his channel not just for the gameplay, but primarily for him as well. When I live stream, the game is a platform for me to be the host and have a conversation with my viewers. I have concerns whether copyright is going to be used to censor channels from producing a review on a game which is judged to be mediocre or worse. Total Biscuit's review of Day 1 Gary's Incident had a copyright strike against it despite receiving permission from the developer to review the game, which by all accounts was there as the review was negative. It was repealed eventually, but as he says on his video, smaller channels do not have the clout or the backing to repeal these claims. I will flatly refuse to say that every game I play is excellent, as this is dishonest. The minute I did that, my reviews would become untrustworthy and it would be a disservice to the viewer. I'm a man of integrity and I will conduct my reviews in that manner. I have concerns about the new show I'm planning and what I can use for it, considering when I'm talking about a particular game, I'm either going to use a still image or game footage or possibly even a trailer while I'm talking about it. I want to have high production values and produce a new show as best as I can. To echo Angry Joe's comments, I don't want my new show or reviews or anything like that to just be me in front of a webcam in a tiny small office. I want more than that. So where does this leave me? Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to quit. I've already invested time and money into this and I am not backing out now. I am not going quietly into the night without fighting for this channel and the viewers that I have and hopefully will have in the future. I only hope that YouTube, multi-channel networks and content creators can get together and resolve this issue. Well, that just about wraps things up. In the meantime, please do catch me on my live streams and on Twitch TV. The next planned broadcasts are Tuesday the 17th of December, Saturday the 21st and Saturday the 28th. Times will be announced on my Facebook page as well as on Twitter. On another note, I've had a request to do a Q&A show which I've taken on board. I'll have to think about the format for this show as well as potentially set up an email domain. If you have made it this far, thank you for watching this vlog. Until next time, take care and enjoy your gaming. This is T-Bone logging off.